You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Welcome to Minute to Skim It, our super awesome non-spoiler review show for books that are arriving at your LCS tomorrow/today, because it depends on whether your LCS releases their DC on Tuesday or not. Don't be mad if your shop does not, because it just means they have to process books twice, and that's a lot of work. And it's hot and blazes in half the country. They might just combust to go to the work. Yes, you need this dancing for the new intro. I keep on saying you're fine to like broadcast this being stupid, because we're going to keep dancing no matter what.
We won't stop dancing.
We have to learn some more sitting dance moves, though. So you guys should always join us when that lead-in music hits in, commence to dancing.
Yeah, then you're dancing with us.
Yeah, send in your videos of you dancing to the open video, and I will give you prizes, because I love people's videos of them doing fun stuff. All right, we're going to talk about the books for this week, and there are a lot of really good ones. I don't even know. How many did you do? You did a whole bunch?
I did a lot.
I always try to see if we can sit and be fit. That's right, Rudolph. True is a true story. I went to a college where the rules were that you could neither go to the movies nor dance. And so there was lots of ways around these rules, and one of them was to cheer dance, because they didn't see that as dancing. So we literally had cheer dance parties. I'm a square and I know it. It's okay. All right. I think you should start with your trigger warning book.
Okay. So I read this book. It's 7174 presents Haunted Universus. And I'm gonna warn, there is graphic sex, like 4 pages worth.
Extremely. It's
intense. There is one page where there is graphic nudity, it's a lot. So read at your own discretion, but it's very intense.
Does it have a coherent story?
No.
Oh no.
There's no storyline. I was very confused. It started in 1912 and in 1942, which, you would assume that World War I or World War II would be like a storyline. Nope.
No?
Just, I don't know what was happening. I assumed like a cult. Nope, that's not what was happening either. I was very confused.
What's your title? Rudolph's
yes.
like writing it down to buy.
Yeah, it's not. I was physically nauseous while reading it because of just how intense. Like, I like weird artwork. I like weird graphic. I do. I couldn't. I got like halfway through it and I was like, I should stop reading this, but I wanted to see if there's going to be a coherent storyline. No, I kept reading, and then I was proceeded to become more nauseous. So I'm not recommending that. It's so intense. I straight up didn't like it.
Okay, so for folks out there that are from the 90s, imagine 90s Tim Vigil, which was always like weird demonic sex stuff, which was beautifully rendered, but also you can't unsee that. So just be aware. Don't leave it around for the kids.
I took a picture of one of the major pages and I showed it to her, and it was a valid reaction. So yeah, just don't let the kiddos get a hold of it.
No. Okay. I was so excited to read this. I actually I don't know if you guys ever do this when you eat food. Do you eat everything on the plate and like leave the very best stuff for last? So
Yes.
it's the last thing you taste?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not the person that like leaves the thing I don't like because I'm like, well, then that's gonna be the last thing I eat, and then I'm not gonna be happy about that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of that way about comic books. I wanted to leave this to the last, but I just couldn't. So no, you eat dessert first. See, everyone does it differently. Is it like The Boys, Garth Ennis? Yes, for Herogasm, but also very much more dark. I mean, that's just kind of like, you know, raunchy, whatever, but this is beyond. Think if you took Red Room, if you're reading Red Room, and put it together with Tim Vigil stuff, and you probably got about what you got there.
Yeah.
I'm sure the creative team is amazing, and they should not be upset about what they made. They were straightforward about it, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 billion genies. This is number 3. Just know you should run, not walk to your LCS or / call them tonight before the show ends, like maybe right now. Because what happened is that issue number 1 and number 2 were solicited, and we ordered them before number 3. And I think we actually ordered number 3 before we saw number 1 on the racks, and definitely before we saw that they were making it into a show. So you might not be able to find 1s or 2s on your racks at all at your LCS. So don't be mad at them. I think they're probably going to do another print for you guys. But 3 is one of those books that I have a feeling is going to be gone from store floors very early tomorrow. So 8 billion genies. All you need to know about this series is it's basically what happens is that because of some birth, and they really have it tied to a birth, all of a sudden everyone on the planet gets a genie. It's one wish, and there's caveats with the wishes, so you just really truly get one. It doesn't matter when you do it. You don't have to wish right away, but whatever it is sticks, and it also affects everybody else's wishes. So it's kind of one of these things that as the issues have gone on, it's very clear that what you wish for can override or mess up someone else's. And it brings more of those ideas out in this book, but it's kind of like focused in on this one bar. And the bar owner in the first issue is very smart. His wish that he uses to say that nothing that happens outside of the bar can affect what's in the bar. So anyone that like makes wishes about the bar or to have something happen in the bar, none of those things work because he wished first that no wishes could affect the bar.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so he's safe and everybody that's in the bar is safe.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's actually really nice.
So it's kind of neat. And this one, you get to continue on with some characters that showed up in the last issue, I believe, where people, I think, wish to like hang out with Hemingway. So Hemingway is there. Hemingway, and then Jim Morrison, and
that's
I
cool.
remember who else. There's some other people that are there, but then you find out some things specifically about those people that were wished back into existence, or loved ones that are wished back into existence, or whatever. There's a new thing that we find out about them, and there are plenty of people on the planet that have still not used their wish. They still have their genie. So that's kind of interesting. And the genies, you can ask the genies lots of questions. You can ask them about how many people on the planet wished for this or that, or
that's cool.
You know, so you can get some information from them. So they don't feel like the traditional like not to be trusted djinn.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm gonna mess it up for you any way that I can. But you have to be really careful about the wording of your
that's just how it goes with genies.
I believe this has to have been born of, you know, Ryan Brown and those guys just sitting around and being like, what would you wish for if you had a wish?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I need to start this series. I've heard so many good things. So many good things.
Yeah, and it's got traditional Ryan Brown art, which I really like. It's always a little bit cartoony and not like the rest, and it's kind of like the reason why I like Rob Guillory's stuff. Like it's like you can tell Rob Guillory art from a mile away. You know it's him. So, you guys that are participating, watching, you should throw up what you would wish for if you had a wish from a genie. Be original, knowing all of the caveats that I just told you.
The bare minimum amount of money to survive.
Yeah, because it's made it clear that wishing to be rich or wishing to be famous are completely nonsensical in this universe because so many people did. So what are you? Everyone's equally rich and equally famous, so doesn't matter.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Well.
Josh says you must read it.
Okay. Then I think I'm gonna. So Potions Inc. The last time I read it, so this I gave it a second chance. It's in the second issue of Potions Inc. I read the first issue. If you watched that episode, you would know that I wasn't a huge fan of it because I'm not a huge fan of like quest storylines. That's just not my thing. I'm glad that I read the second issue because it makes more sense now. So the end of the last issue, there's like a puff of smoke, and that's the end of the issue. Turns out that they got teleported to Seattle in 1992.
It's very specific.
Yeah, that's it's like the very specific like start of the issue. It's really good. This FBI agent actually has vitiligo, which is I always love seeing that in art. It's really good.
I will just say, if we lose power, don't dismay. It'll go black for a second and then we'll come back on.
Yeah.
We have a big storm that's about to roll through on a day when there's 0% chance of rain. For the third day in the row, we've had 0% chance of rain.
And we've been getting nothing but storms. It's fine.
We need it. It's so hot here. It's like 106.
Yeah. It felt nice last night when I was going home. It was nice. But I'm glad that I gave it a second chance. And the recipe at the end of this is literally just lime Coke. That's it. They have a joke. I actually take a picture of the recipes just in case if I don't have a chance to read it or if I forget what the recipe is. And they put, and I quote, one spicy ginger beer, i.e. Moxie, Dr. Pepper, but we can't say those names, I know. It's a really cute storyline. Like, I'm very interested to see where it's going to go. I'm glad that I gave it a second chance. It's a really good storyline so far. If you know anything about the Seattle grunge scene back in the day, it makes more sense if you know that history. Yeah, it's good. I recommend it.
I like how she has kind of like a Starbucks mug in her car.
Yeah. It's on brand for Seattle 1992, if I'm being honest.
Very, very on brand. Of course, she probably could afford the coffee back then.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Hoo-wee. There is a new big story arc that is getting ready to start for Marvel, and it's called, you can just shorten it to AXE, A-X-E. It stands for Avengers X-Men Eternals.
Yeah.
And this one is one of the lead-in books called Eve of Judgement. So what's so cool about what they're doing here is that they're very much setting up this for a long time, it's been very kind of like kumbaya amongst the at least for all the mutants. They had a pretty good run of, we can do this, we can get along. But we haven't really been hearing a lot about the rest of the kind of like immortals and those kinds of people in regards to their interactions with them. It's been pretty separated for a while for storyline. So this one, very in a big, gigantic way. And if you are not an Eternals person, you're going to have to do like kind of some dissertation research because they're all in this. Go back and rewatch the Eternals movie. It will help you a lot. It really does appear like the Eternals here are, and I don't expect this of them, that they are banding together somehow, or maybe one of the members is kind of like fringe to them, is got this gameplay in place in which they really intend to take down all of the mutants. And I mean all of the mutants.
Oh, like mass genocide kind of situation. Wow. Okay.
And what else about this? There's some, I think this is the one where I think it's the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah.
These are pretty tied together. All the stuff that is kind of like merged and sticking out tentacles from the Hickman original storyline is important to this. So I normally would say you don't need to know anything to jump in to a storyline, but it would be so much richer for you if you did go back and try to read at least that X-Men run, House of X, Powers of 10 lines that would help you a lot. I always recommend for people to read those kinds of big overarching stories because they tend to like have implications for a long time. And here we are 2 years later or whatever, and you kind of need it for this. So go and borrow someone's copy of it or ask your LCS if they have a library policy, or just suck it up and buy a copy because it's worth having.
Like that's one of the things that comes along with X-Men now, is that I can't just jump into it because now I don't know anything that's going on. I only grew up with the movies.
Well, or you could just listen to our show, and probably what I told you is enough.
That too, yeah. And then I've been wanting to start the new X-Men series. Then I'm gonna jump into this.
Space Lady!
I was very excited. This one got delayed. I heard it got delayed by like a month. And it's so funny. I wasn't expecting it to be funny. I was expecting it to like be just a storyline. It starts with her waking up with a hangover. I guess it's I was just trying to like look at the like little details in her room, because the first panel is just her room, her passed out on the floor, very clearly drunk. And you just hear like the numbers of crimes just racking up as she's asleep. It's so funny. Like at the end, like these robots gain sentience out of nowhere. If you like sci-fi tropes that like very much tie into like reality of like what actually would happen if superheroes were like a normal 20-something, it works really well. I always love when it makes it normal and not like I'm a superhero cop. Like I thought it was really funny. I was really excited the moment that I heard about it, and I was like, I love this, and the art in it is perfect. It's just, I recommend picking this up if you like and like all the sci-fi tropes mixed with a little bit of reality. It's great. It was hilarious. I actually giggled at one point. It was funny. So strong praise. I think that's probably my pick of the week, if I'm being honest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was really good.
And it's all that very unique art style, right?
Oh yeah, it's the cover is the art. If you like look around, I recommend like looking for like the small details before it pans to like the actual storyline. And like looking at the small details of her room, it very much shows like her lifestyle of getting drunk every night, and then completely ignoring her duties of like committing crimes or like fighting crime. She has robots to do her bidding because she is a scientist or like a mechanic. It's super funny. Like I love that so much.
We'll say hi to people on our chat here that I haven't acknowledged yet. Kenneth, hello and welcome. And then our booth at Comic Palooza, I think it's 1616. We're on what I call main aisle. So not when you first walk in. I call that like, that's when people are putting away their sunglasses and their whatever,
They're focusing
put
on other
away.
things.
Yeah, they're like, I gotta put my money where it belongs, and get my backpack ready. And
that's when I start focusing on my cosplay and like putting on my props.
So I'm never at that first part. I will never be in that front unless that's the only thing that's left. So the way Comic Palooza does it is they've got like kind of here's the entrance, and then they've got this big aisle that runs across the center. And if you go into that aisle, we're kind of like right across from the entrance in the main aisle on an end cap. So you'll be able to find us. So it's 1616, I think. And Shana, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. They are beautiful people.
Thank you. Okay. What
is it me? Because I'm
yes.
Is it me? Okay.
Yes. This one I was very excited about.
And by the way, going to a Comic Con and going to see your LCS there is still supporting your LCS.
It is.
So go do it. All right. And in our case, we don't charge tax while we're there. We pay the tax on everyone's purchases. And just so that everyone understands what that means is when I come back, when I put in the register, I discount it by 8.25%. So I really am paying the tax for everybody. I'm not just like going, I got cash and I'm not paying taxes. I'm a firstborn, so I follow all the rules. So that is the one time you can get just straight off the top, 8% discount. Just go see us at conventions. We do that every time we are away from the store. That is the way we operate because we don't want to count change. It's the rules. Okay, X-Men Hellfire Gala. I know what you're thinking. Hellfire Gala happened a long time ago. I'm thinking that also. But this one is the formation of the new team. So if you want to see who the new team is, it's kind of spoilery. They might be on the front cover. So
I wonder who it's in. I wonder who it is.
And I will have to say, if you look really, you can't see it here, but if you look at Scott's, everyone knows I hate Scott like crazy. If you look at his costume, like the color and like decoration of some of the stuff that's on it looks very, very Nazi. It's like, I think just trying to say it out loud. Might as well. Go ahead. He's just annoying to me. So, and of course, he's got the White Queen with him because that's right, my buddies.
Absolutely best friends.
Mm-hmm. But it looks like a good team. It's not like the traditional team that you're used to. And there's a bunch of other stuff that happens here, including you get to see Jean. They go back. There's some flashback stuff. You get to see Jean make the decision to step down from the Silent Council because they believe that Silent Council isn't as powerful as putting together again the X and having your own thing. So now you're starting to see how it ties into the Axe Eye of Judgment, because it really is like you can see finally the bits that have been all together kumbayaing are now saying to themselves, even within their own structure, we want to have a little more power. So
I never started.
You don't want to have to make change at cons ever. It's like either have exact change or I just get to keep the extra money. Is that the way you play it?
I always forget, like every single time that I go to a vendor hall, I always forget to bring cash every single time. And I always feel stupid every single time.
I round everything to a 0 or a 5.
There you go.
So I never have to make change.
That's really smart.
Yeah, if you have the ability to bring anybody back, I mean, I don't even know what they reset him to, because they have backups for him at any time, and that was a backup was made. So I don't even remember which backup they used for him. Maybe they used a pre-douche enough of him. I might actually like him again a little bit, but I have to go really back pretty far before 92.
We should reset the room after we had to deal with Scott Summers. Are you ready?
Go. Where's the dancer? There we go.
We weren't kidding when we said we dance.
We're awkward dancers. I'm not saying we're good dancers, but we dance.
I dance. I this is how I dance at a wedding. So
I just done for those guys that do the
I sometimes go like this if
I'm Night at the Roxbury.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm just jumping around. I read The Army of Darkness versus the Re-animator, number 1. And I know the base level of like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, all that fun stuff, and same with Re-animator. So like if you just know the base level and like you haven't seen either of those movies, you just know the general consensus. That's all you need. There's at one point, it's not really a spoiler because it's jumping between two different storylines. Ash is the Re-animator is reanimating Ash, as always. And
the Re-animator has as the Necronomicon. Is that what I see?
No. The Necronomicon, he's buying it at one point. I don't know. It's Ash. Are you kidding? It's always mentioned.
You can find those at good flea markets everywhere.
Exactly. And he does a Michael Jackson pose at some point on the surgery table.
There's a theme. There's a Michael Jackson theme this week. I always look for what the theme is between the books. I know there's at least 2 that are Michael Jackson related.
Well, that makes sense. Like it's so like I loved it. My friend Cody, he loves Ash. He loves anything like that. I started Ash versus Evil Dead, and it is so it's so on point. If you love the Evil Dead series, like the humor there is like you can tell. I loved it. I am definitely going to continue reading the series because I just love the humor in it. It is perfect for both of them. The doctor for the Re-animator does not care about anything that Ash has to say at all, and that's pretty. I'm not surprised. I recommend, if you like both of those series, I recommend picking it up. And if you just like humor in general, it's really entertaining. That's all I'll say. It's just really funny. I can't say much because it'll spoil the entire thing. I'm not. It's just pick it up. It's funny. I recommend it. It's definitely a good one starting this week. Okay.
And Dynamite's books, to me, fall into that same category of like Cinescope and stuff, where people have a kind of an idea about what Dynamite is because Dynamite has a lot of cover art, right? Yeah. That it's really pretty cover art. But I think people have gotten themselves like in this mental space where Dynamite is just about the cover art, but their stories are really great.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could get more people to just try any of their titles and they'll fall in love because they're great writing in those things.
Oh yeah, like from what I'm aware of, like their Army of Darkness series, like any of them for the most part, they're really good. Like they're very like they know what they're doing and they know the media that they're intaking. Like they've absolutely fallen in love with the Evil Dead side, not Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. Or yes, Army of Darkness is the comedy version. Can't remember, but regardless, they definitely are binging Ash versus Evil Dead in the background as they're writing this. You can tell. It's great. It's hilarious. Pick it up if you love both of those medias. That's all I'll say.
Praise the Lord, it's raining here.
Oh yeah.
I'm just hoping it's raining at the house because it's rained here 3 days in a row and not at all. We need it so badly.
I couldn't find that and I wanted to read it this week.
Oh no, sorry.
No, you're fine.
So sorry, I had it upside down. I'm sure it was making you guys crazy. So this is Star Wars: The Mandalorian. In this case, if you watch the Mandalorian show, this is the Mandalorian show done as comic book style, written by Rodney Barnes, who's a master at it. If you're not familiar with Rodney Barnes' work, look up Rodney Barnes. Look at his IMDb. He's been behind a lot of stuff that you've been watching on TV and have seen in Hollywood, and he does comic books, including Philadelphia. So he does a great job here. If it's been a long time since you've watched Mandalorian, it's a great, like revisiting to those characters and that world. It's really well done. And there's some killer covers out there for this. So you can kind of pick really good ones. This is just the main cover for the Mando.
The variants for this they're gorgeous. I love the variants for this that are coming out with it. They're really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So sorry that was a short review. There was I'm pretty
it's
sure
just
the whole
an
planet has
adaptation.
seen the show. So.
Yeah, I mean it's an adaptation of a show. I'm not surprised. Flavor Girls. Oh, it was. So the way that I described it was because I told the staff that were here whenever I'm done reading.
You'll regale them with the tales.
Yeah. It's the way that I described it was if you mixed Sailor Moon with Fruits Baskets.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's really it definitely has Sailor Moon vibes. Like the main character's origin story is absolutely, I don't know. I was hearing banging earlier.
Oh, I think really when the front door closes.
Yeah.
Our little like thing that holds the door, like it's supposed to go slowly closed. People don't open it up enough for it to actually engage, so it just goes BAM!
Oh yeah, and then it causes our own door to slam for the studio.
Building move.
Oh yeah, but it's the main girl is the pineapple one. Can't see it because she's very pale.
She's like me, see through.
Same.
No, we are kind of the same color.
We're very pale. It's because we're ginger. That's why.
This is crazy. We're actually darker than somebody.
Yeah.
Write down this name, this time and date. It's Marco Fontanelli.
Hey.
Hello. Marco's got a bunch of cool stuff in play. This stuff from if you like giant kaijus that are hunting pizza, or if you're reading Pentagram Horror. You will love Marco stuff. Those
yeah.
two things, by the way, are very different in mood and tone.
Yes. Very much so. But no, if you love Sailor Moon and if you like fruit baskets like humor, perfect. Pick it up. It is amazing. It was really funny. The art on the cover is the art in the book. It's beautiful. Like I'm not a huge Sailor Moon fan, but I love the humor in Sailor Moon and I love the art style. And it's perfect. It's definitely like a magical girl thing. The main character is actually a poli-sci major. And I think she's Canadian. It's good. It's good. I recommend it. It's really funny. They're all fruit. Like they're all fruit themed, like powers. Yes. And at the end, it gives a bio, or kind of like a bio, like an analysis of the main character and another character. So I'm assuming that the next issue is going to give a bio. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's going to give a bio on the other two main characters. But the bios are really funny. It's just a good. I'm very excited to see where this series is gonna go. That's all I'll say.
I know this solicitation was saying that it was kind of like aimed at, like it could be for all ages. There's not a lot of stuff in there that could put it out of the all ages group. What do you feel like?
There is a joke in there that involves a curse word, so it's definitely aimed at like
maybe YA.
Yeah, so it seems like the humor in it is aimed at like probably junior in high school to probably like senior in college kind of age range. Yeah. It's really funny though. Like I loved it. There's a straight just joke that like makes fun of just uses an acronym that spells out a curse word. It's very funny. Oh yeah.
Creative.
Oh yeah, I loved it. As soon as I saw it, I chuckled. And I was like, that's smart. It's smart humor.
Speaking of Marco, I was just kind of like mulling about this. I think Marco's Pentagram 2 is out this week. But we got ours in last week, so it's actually out on the floor already. So sorry, Marco. I would totally do a review for it, but I think it was because we get our stuff straight from Scout. I think we already have that out on the floor. Yeah. But for you guys out there in comic book land, you can find it out there in the wild.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think A Town Called Terror comes out the next issue comes out this week as well.
Ooh, nice. Yes. All right. They've been kind of leading into this storyline for a while in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This one is called the Armageddon Game Opening Moves. So I'll give you guys some background. The Armageddon game is a setup for chess in which I believe one of them, I think the black gets to go first and has big advantages, and the white basically just like the whole idea for the game is for just them to try to catch up, to get up. Comics, where I'm going to talk about Dig. Don't leave. Don't leave. I got some mad props for you. It's like such a good book. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to do that one next. But I'm going to finish this one. You can't forget. Forgot to ask for a copy of this one. All right, Sean, we'll make sure it goes in there for you. All right, this is Sean's. Remind me with my good Sharpie. Okay, so remember they've been doing this big setup with the Rat King. And so the beginning of this book basically goes back and talks to you about Shredder and how he's had like 3 lives essentially at this point. He's immortal, and so is everybody in his family. And so it talks about how he's come back, why he's, how his character development has happened. So in that way, this book's a perfect jumping on point for if you have never read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you don't know a lot about their history, you can jump in here. You can totally get into the universe without knowing anything other than the words I have just told you. And so this is setting up a huge gambit that's going on. Lots of they're setting up the board, essentially, is what it feels like here. And that's why I think it's awesome that they have both of those references there for chess. You just know that there's big moves that are going to happen coming forward. And this one does not have a lot of turtle action. It's mostly set up for the story involving Rat King. And, of course, right there. I don't know why he's inside of the crocodile. I don't have been reading enough to know that part, but this is really, really good. And this follows the same pathway as like the X-Men. Hellfire Gala is like a triple-sized book almost. It's so huge this week. And this one's also feels like it's a much more thick book than usual. There are so many books on the board that are real serious this week in terms of they're worth their money. I think everyone said, we know that we're going to have to wait for paper, so let's make it worth a while. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to knock out the bottom row, just the ones that I just didn't enjoy, because I already talked about one of them. So 9 Circles, it's officially called 9 Circles Martial Law. Didn't realize that until I started reading it. It takes place in hell. It explains it like closer to the end, but it doesn't give like a general idea. I mean, it's 9 Circles. What am I talking about?
There's one of the people that works on this book named Cool as Heck. It's in the name part of the book.
That's the name of the artist. It's
Cool
the
as
artist.
Heck is the name of the artist.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna change my name right now.
So I'm pretty sure
as possible.
there's 4 different. So there's a main writer, a main artist, a main illustrator, and a main editor. And it explains it all like before you even start the book. And Cool as Heck is, I believe, the illustrator. I think he's an online creator. But I'm not a huge fan of like Archangel like storylines. It's just not my jam.
I should read it then.
Yeah, I feel like you would love it. Like I started reading it and I was like, I don't know why you didn't pick this up. Like I feel like you would love
it. You in your pile. How was I supposed to get it?
Well, we had like 5 issues of them, but we've read the same books before.
Okay. Afterwards, I will take this over.
Yeah, it's really good. The Archangel is a bounty hunter. That's hunting down demons, I guess, that are causing mischief. It's
silly demons.
It starts off with a priest in the confession booth drinking out of a flask, and I was like, okay, I don't know how this is gonna go. It's good if you like an Archangel like storyline, like an Archangel bounty hunter kind of thing. I watched Supernatural enough to like just be burnt out on that at this point. I watched so much Supernatural. That's just that storyline.
Yes, Mother.
he's displeased.
He also didn't like this book.
Apparently not. No, like I think it's just because I am burnt out from Supernatural. But if I wasn't, if I wasn't, I would have loved the storyline. Like the art in it is beautiful. It takes place in the Wild West. The one thing that I will warn is that I think some of them are not misprinted, but printed like I guess like incorrectly or on top of itself because it's very like blurry. And I have astigmatism that causes me to already have depth perception issues. So it was starting to give me a headache. So if it wasn't for my astigmatism, it would have been fine. But it was just making me like, it was causing me physical pain to read it. But the story was good. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good story. It's just the way that it was edited was hurting me.
I'll let them know then, because they do deserve to have a book that's readable.
Yeah.
And not make people nauseous because of the printing part of it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want people to be distracted by things that are out of your control. Like unless you meant that to be the way the book looks. So they have occasionally done those and said, nope, that's what we meant to do.
Yeah, no, like sometimes that's fine, but it was very random. Like I was trying to like see if it was just like that's just how it was, but I think it was just misprinted every once in a while for different panels. Or just misplaced because there's like a weird shadowing behind like one of the sentences that's not in the rest of the rest of it. So yeah,
That's gotta be it.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad story. I Supernatural burned me out on that kind of storyline. So yeah.
I want to say hi to from Twitter. We have Slide Chick watching us. Hello. We've got many generations in our store, so that we do that on purpose. So we have different points of view. Yeah. I represent old people because I'm 52, and Liam's younger.
I'm 24.
Another generation. And yes, we have a great love of comic books here. And I bet you, if you got yourself in the right circles, you'll find all kinds of people that love comic books wherever you are. What country are you from? I'm super interested where you're watching from because that's way cool. And both Marco and Comics Tribe, which are creators that are on right now, if you want to post up in the comments any links to like your web pages or your social medias, please do, so people can kind of follow them and keep up with all the stuff you guys are doing.
And if it wasn't for the mesh of age, I wouldn't have met my current roommate. So.
That is true.
Yes.
Okay, so for those of you that are super into the Sync book, which is amazing, here is your chance to jump in. And if you can't find Sync, because by my recollection, it was a very popular series and very hard to get some of the issues for, which maybe they can solve. Maybe Comics Tribe has copies for you that you can get directly, but I've had a hard time, sourcing them for a while, the individual issues. This one is called Dig. So I will start in by saying that I don't know as much about Sync as I should, but you don't need to know anything about Sync to enjoy Dig. So this is a huge, thick book. This one took me about half an hour to read.
That's why I put it back.
So worth it. So worth it. So I love book series where they're told out of sequential order. So they just give you enough of a story and then put you into like they go to the past, and then they put you in what's happening right now.
That's
what
I
go back and touch on the past, and then the way that the story rolls out gets you to the past part of the book, of the storyline for the character, just in time for what is the big story, point to make it even more cool. So this one revolves around the person who's wearing this mask. He has kind of gotten himself a safe place. It looks like this place was once under the control of probably some organized crime. And but he's kind of taken it over with a bunch of people and formed their own kind of, I think the best way to describe it is a safe place. He is known as, I think it's just called the Dig. And there is a character that's been sent after him by this organized crime group, really just run by one person, that I could tell, who's very brutal. And that character is an assassin. That's their only job. And they throughout the book are just super brutal. This is another one of those books that's like beautiful to read, but it's also full of like real violence. So if you're reading, for example, Good Boy, it's like full of cute looking dog assassins, but then
so brutal.
Yeah, I mean, these are all humans. There's no actual, he's just wearing a mask stuff. So
okay, yeah. I thought it was going to be the same style as Good Boy. No. Now I'm sad, but I still want to read it. That doesn't change anything.
So I will say, if you are currently reading or watching the Terminal, the Terminal something. It's the one that has Chris Pratt in it, and I can't remember who else is in it, where it like deals with like military post PSD kind of things. Like it feels like it has that kind of like this guy's damaged from an experience, terminalist, thank you, from an experience that you're jumping back and forth to.
I love that.
In which it's very clear when you're done with this book why the shovel. If you've ever wondered why the shovel, he basically kills things with shovel. So he's really deadly with the shovel. So this one is like a really high recommendation. And also because it's an independent book and your LCS might not have known that you loved it, you need to be also messaging them as soon as you can to make sure to get it, or to tell them to order some more tonight so that they have some more inbound, because you like it? Okay, Sean. Sometimes I make comparisons. I'm like, oh, and everyone's like, well, no, that's not what I got out of that book at all.
I appreciate that, though. Okay.
Appreciate it.
I only have a few left.
You wore that same mask to work, too.
So, Impact Winter #1, it just started. It's straight up there's a very last page that acknowledges the fact that it was going towards 28 Days Later, which is a zombie movie. If you haven't seen it, it's beautiful. It is quality. It definitely does take after, like, it's definitely an homage, but putting it with vampires. Did not realize it was a vampire book until the very end.
That's a good. I
Yeah.
like that when you're like, oh, I just read a vampire book.
What I thought at first was a post-nuclear apocalypse, like kind of thing, but there wasn't any like nuclear damage. I thought it was like a nuclear winter kind of thing. And then it just suddenly just says, "Hey, there's vampires here," and I'm like, oh, okay, I won't argue with this. It's the art on the cover is the art that it is. It's gorgeous. It apparently takes place in England. That was not explained, but that's not surprising. Because their base is in a castle that makes sense to England. Yeah. And my brain immediately just changed it to a British accent instead of just a regular like American I guess like hardened New York kind of accent, like post-apocalypse kind of thing. It's really good. It touches on certain omens, like if you see a black dog in the middle of the road, it's an omen of death, which a lot of people don't know, and I wish that was used more in a lot more in storylines. And it's really good if you like vampires and if you like the same story style of 28 Days Later. It's beautiful. I recommend picking it up. I'm very excited to see where they're going to go with this series, if I'm being completely honest.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Impact Winter.
Yes.
Right. I love vault books. You guys know I love vault books. And I love bloodthirsty axes that only their wielder can hear. So Barbaric had a really awesome first run, and we haven't had any Barbaric for a little while, a few months. And this is a single shot that you can jump into. This one's called the Harvest Blades, which gets you into this character specifically. And really all you need to know to be able to enjoy this book is that you'll get to know the main character, who's not her. It's a very cool barbarian, so he has this kind of like oddity to him that I don't know if it's a curse that he's got. It probably is. Where if someone asks him for help, which he calls the H word, then he feels obligated or must help them. So he's like always trying to avoid people, which doesn't really help ever. And he carries around this big axe. Thank you, it's Owen. That carries this big axe that I don't know if anyone else sees like the mouth face on it, but it basically loves blood. So there's always a calling out for more violence because and this one you'll see it is like, oh, this blood tastes different. It's super tasty. So it gets Owen in trouble all the time, especially when he's got the curse that he does, which is I have to help people.
So the only reason I'm laughing at that is because there was a D&D campaign that I was a part of that ended up becoming a curse that the barbarian in our party, only he could hear this axe that was bloodthirsty. His axe originally was not that. He got cursed by he made fun of a god or something, or he made fun of a priest.
You should not.
Yeah. That was just our whole thing. And I think he got cursed at some point to have this axe, and only he can hear it. And then at some point, only one of us could hear it. That was not him. And then they would translate what the axe was saying because it was just an axe. So
did you guys always tell him the truth? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very honest. He was very honest about his bloodlust.
Was Bolt listening to me? That's part of the course. Why are they talking to me? Bolt, come on and hang out. Yeah. By the way, I am going to be moderating a panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and I know that I am. I know I'm supposed to provide you guys questions because I've been asked for the questions in advance. And it's hard for me because I'm a swing from the cuff interviewer in which I let the conversation flow where it needs to go. But I promise I will give you guys a heads up for what I'm going to ask. It's not going to be anything crazy. I'm not a controversial interviewer. I don't bring up things that are controversial because I want to have everybody happy in comic books and not have to hear drama.
You controversial? That's insane.
Never. I'm never going to be that expose reporter. That's not me.
Yeah.
No. I'm never going to get paid the big bucks either.
Well, since you have two, do you want to knock them out?
Well, I'm going to do this one. And then you've got Bill and Ted?
Yes.
Is that right? That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to finish with my very favorite ones.
Perfect.
All right, Zdarsky is here for a Daredevil. So what you need to know about the Daredevil universe is there's a big like hole that's been left with the Fisk fiasco.
Mhm.
I'm not going to tell you what happens, just in case you're going to go back and try to read what happens to Fisk in because he does it in the Spider-Man storyline. But in this book, both he and Elektra as Daredevil are part of the storyline, but the new kind of like big bad is Fisk's son grabbing the power ring and trying to kind of like make everything his, which is going to be interesting. So, and it is Zdarsky writing, so you know he's really thought through a storyline. He's really good at writing characters so that you care about them and what's happening. So here's your chance to jump in. I will tell you that almost every storyline that has been Daredevil storyline for the last 4 years has been amazing. There hasn't been a weak storyline yet. So you're pretty safe to just jump in.
That has been like a character that I've been wanting to start with, and I wanted to actually pick that up this week, but I missed the box and I already had 8 books. So
why Scott Summers? No, I like the list here. Give them this list. Why do you do that? What are you doing? How does it make you feel? Who's your favorite Pokemon? Oh, no, I'm not going to do that one. No. And Sean says Daredevil's their favorite character of all time.
Daredevil is a good character. Okay, so the last thing in my thing, if you watched last month, was Bill and Ted Roll the Dice. Bill and Ted are trapped in hell doing a D&D campaign with Satan. And Satan is a cruel DM, and I would hate to have him as my DM. And if you've seen the original movie, Excellent Adventure, they bring back Joan of Arc. Just as a small like Easter egg of just like, we remembered that you watched this movie. It's a stereotypical stereotypical like D&D party. There's a bard, a fighter, knight, stuff like that. Like, it's a stereotypical D&D party. And they acknowledge that like hard. And the parallel future storyline that they're talking about, they like reiterate multiple times that in the first issue they blew up a middle school.
Swim here. A little bit.
Wow.
Alfie just got here.
I am ready to go home tonight
because it's been raining solid since we started the show.
It's really good though. If you like D&D, pick up this story. You're gonna miss out if you don't.
Okay. Love this book so much. Okay, so this is by Fantagraphics, Underground, by G. Davis Cathcart. And all of the art style is just like this on the front.
Oh, that's so
which
pretty.
might kind of like make you say, oh no, this is going to turn me off. But it is a very amazingly written storyline on these. It's a giant book. So I will tell you the premise of the book and see if it will hook you. So the main character is not someone you should. He's not a good guy. He just is. He's just a dude. Full of character flaw. But this book jumps around in time, and the reason why it does is because he tells the other people in his life at some point that he has somehow managed to project himself forward in time a couple of years. And this all takes place in 1980 as the storyline.
Ooh.
He's projected himself a couple of years ahead and comes back and says that he knows that there is a song that is going to be released. It's going to change the world, but it's going to be released by a person who in the future is going to be not someone who's worthy of the song. So I'm not going to tell you. You probably have hints if you've already been listening to the show, who it is by. So there's a commonality this week, but you'll have to figure out what the song is because it was released in 1982. And so it's basically them trying to do a song heist, get it from this person, before they actually are successfully releasing it and release it themselves. And you'll find out what happens when they do or don't do this.
My immediate thought, because I love me a good meme, was "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley, and I was like, that is super duper not correct. That's how that works. That was my immediate thought. That's why I started giggling, because I was like, it's not "Never Gonna Give You Up." That I thought actually was a poster when I saw it on the box. I didn't realize it was a book until I was moving stuff around, because I have to we put in all of our new books where I'm currently sitting, and so before Jen comes into the store, because I read here, she leaves, I moved stuff around. I was picking it up and I saw pages and I was like, this is a book. I need to check that out. There's a lot of stuff that I need to check out this week. It's a good week.
One of my panels ask, how many lows would Rob Lowe rob if Rob Lowe could rob Lowe?
Rob Lowe would not rob a Lowe's. He's too good for that. I love Rob Lowe.
By the way, this book involves remote viewing, and there is a show out there in which Rob Lowe and his family do remote viewing.
Ooh.
Go find it. It's awesome.
I love that.
Because they actually successfully remote view.
I love that. Yeah. I love that so much.
Which the government has used in the past and says they don't use anymore. That seems highly unlikely. They would stop using something that works. So, Kate Bush, what?
Absolutely, definitely Kate Bush.
Low Files is available on Amazon Prime. Thank you. Someone else has watched that amazing show.
Oh, before I forget, Impact Winter is on Audible. I completely forgot. So if you don't have the time to read it, you can listen to it on Audible.
Wow, that's cool.
Yes, I forgot. I forgot to mention that. My bad.
But then you miss out on the awesome art. So there.
Yeah. Because like it's definitely one of those that you could definitely listen to it and it'd be like a good audio story, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. My bad.
All right, as we wrap up, because we got basically 1 minute to be done.
Yeah.
I will tell you guys, thank you so much for viewing us on the EXP. It's super helpful if you guys subscribe. So if you subscribe from wherever you are, you can ring the bell on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can do them on all of those platforms. It actually helps us out a lot. And just watch us from one of them. You can just choose later. We're super thankful if you do that. And anytime that you guys make comments, we love it. Or do thumbs up or hearts. It also helps us. I am a person that kind of lives on positive feedback. So thank you guys for everybody that commented and is involved in any way. You're letting us follow the dream. This is year 7, I think, of Minute to Skim It. We're happy to make sure that you guys know all the things. Kyle, we're not selling anything. We're just reviewing right now. So do support your LCSs, whether they're doing live shows or if you can go in and see them in person. If you don't have an LCS and you just moved to a new area, you can use comicshoplocator.com and the zip code for where you are. And you can go visit all the comic book shops in the area. We've had a lot of people visiting us as they're just kind of visiting everyone that they can reach. They just kind of use their Googles. So,
and if you hang around for our next show, we do live shows and we ship out of Texas and we also ship internationally. So, yeah.
So Kyle, follow us. We have a show in 2 minutes. So we're starting, but it's on CBSN.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out here. Thanks to our production team. They're always awesome. I will see you guys next time for a dance party. As always. Bye, y'all.